All right, let's go. The deed. We're gonna. I'm thinking. Okay. Busy. Away from my family lots. I take it up. We're here now. I'm for your eager to start the others. Father's in the library on your left. Your mother's in the parlor, which is on your right. Upstairs in her room, I think. All right. So you said that I should check out the basement. This. I shall now do that. The wide cells where your father likes to practice billiards. The laundry room is next door. Beyond that is the servants' quarters. Got the pool cue and pool balls. Nothing in these drawers but useless cleaning supplies. Cleaning supplies? What the fuck? Nothing interesting among the supplies. Are you kidding me? Cleaning supplies are like bleach and shit. You could kill people with that. Why is that not interesting for someone who's trying to murder someone? Who is this? Hello, sir. What can I do for you? You seem quite distressed about something. I do. It's something you should trouble yourself with, sir. Concerns are my concerns. Come now, George. We've known each other for many years. If something is troubling you, I want to hear about it. You insist, sir. Ever since the new maid arrived, I feel like I'm being nudged towards early retirement. She's obviously being trained to become the new housekeeper. She is taking over my responsibilities one by one. I've tried discussing the matter with your mother, but it's no use. She hasn't been herself lately either. But please don't trouble yourself about it, sir. I probably shouldn't have said anything at all. The new maid is something of a bully, then. What's wrong with my mother? You should have. This new maid is something of a bully, then. This new maid is quite domineering, then. She didn't seem that way to me. She is subtle in her ways, but mark my words, she wants to be running this house. Perhaps it's not a coincidence that your sister mental health has become worse since Sophia arrived. I haven't seen anything out of the ordinary yet, but I have my suspicions. She is as cold and heartless a woman as I have ever known. I should say no more. Please excuse me, sir. I go through Roman George drawers while he's watching you. I guess this is her room over here. Yeah, it's gotta be. Broken mirror sits upon a maid's desk. Odds are that it belongs to your sister. It has been hiding here after accidentally breaking it. A shard of glass from the mirror would be a poetic murder weapon. Broken glasswork. Nothing on drawers but clothes belonging to the maid. Again, he's assuming this stuff is not useful, and it seems like it might be a little. Okay. Father always kept an impressive amount of wine stocked in the house. Billiard balls for anything? A billiards cue belonging to your father lies across the table. This would certainly serve as an unorthodox murder weapon. So wait, so last time I planted the whip in her room and I killed her with the knife, and the reason that the detective never got. Okay, so I kill her with the cue and I plant the whip in her room, and this should make it so that they know. They should confirm that it's the dad. This is my theory here. How do you think this is gonna work?
That's what I did. It basically what dictates it whether or not you get the suspicion is easy to get. It's pinning it like proof that's really hard to do.
Okay.
Like I did one where I thought I did the exact same thing as my first one, where I got him arrested, and I didn't get him arrested. It was just suspicion, and then like no shit didn't happen.
So Aaron, you finally managed to make it up here for a visit. Please tell me you aren't here just to cause trouble. Here to make amends. So I should probably still talk to everyone and try and seem nice again, just to make sure that they think I'm nice. I'm not going to reread all this because I already read it all in the first episode. So if you want to hear this conversation again, just go watch the first episode. Yeah.
I didn't even drink.
Nothing. Wait, if the goal is to try and get the inheritance, framing your dad might be even the most obvious option, but then you can't get the inheritance, can you? Like, you might want to frame your dad because he's a dick, but that's kind of not really the point.
I picked the dad just because he's kind of a douchebag. So I mean,
Right, but like,
I mean,
but
of
he
the
can't
people that are
rewrite
there, I
his
want to frame him
will.
the most.
Right, I know, but he can't. But if you successfully pin it on him, does that I mean, he will rewrite his will? Because he'll know. Because it's his will. He knows he didn't do it, even if you successfully frame him that way. Or even just overthinking it.
I think the mom here is like something weird.
Oh, that would make sense. Like, the wife would take over and dictate what happens to the states, actually. I didn't even think about that. Mr. Aaron,
It said I gain the inheritance.
I want to ask you about your time here. Ask you about something about working for my family. Oh, how do you deal with my father's temper? What's it like working for my insane sister? Will they treat you well? How's church with father? It hurts my father's bad temper. It doesn't give you abuse. I wouldn't call it abuse. Certainly be a very demanding employer, but there's I'm very grateful to have this. I'm sorry, I must get back to work now. I'll ring the bell when dinner is ready. Okay. This. Top of the cabinet. Blue box marked. That for now. I'll file that information later. Figure that. I'm not even gonna talk to my sister this time. I'm gonna go talk to my dad and get the. Alright, and again, this conversation, if you want to see this, just go watch part 1. Did I not actually take... Did I not actually... There's no way you can steal... I need to get my coat. Is there a way to recover my coat?
Nope, you fucked up.
Alright, well... So I guess I'm gonna go with the poison route then. Kind of like drop the pool cue? Or the... Not the pool cue, but the, Nope. Okay. Take the poison. See, like, it's so dumb. Like, like, for the hotcakes thing, like, I would just not say anything, but instead you can butt into the conversation and say you don't want any, which none were offered to you. You can make another fucking dirty joke. You can make a fucking rude joke, or you can, like, tell her off. But, like, what, why do you have to say anything here? It doesn't fucking make any sense.
Some of the stuff is just to take away from you, like make you look a better person, like make you look.
I guess the 3 of these look like
impartial.
3 of them look like you're
like
you look like a shitty person.
I just ignored it every time. I just said I don't want any. I just kind of butted in.
Right.
That's the least suspicious of all of them, I think.
Right, but I mean, just like you don't need to fucking. Oh, I don't get it. But whatever.
I found the Dopplers and stuff on Amazon.
Link me to that later. Alrighty. Her skin turns green. Alright, so now you're saying I should be in the room with my mother. Okay, well, stand over here by the fireplace then for a good 5 more seconds. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Inspector Winston Lewis. I understand this is difficult. Okay. So again, part 1. Alright, now I shall have my interview, and I will not skip through this conversation. Thank you for joining me in here, Mr. Bruce. I'm sure this won't take long. Before we begin, I'll need to search your person. Best get these formalities out of the way. It's really necessary. I'm afraid so. Turn around, please. Now that that's out of the way, move on to the interview. As you know, I've already spoken to everyone else who was in the house at the time of your sister's death. We have now also completed our initial search of the house, but we'll get to that later. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? First of all, we will run through all of your activities since your arrival. The maid says that you and the butler arrived shortly after 7 o'clock, and she greeted you at the door. Later, you're going to speak to the maid again, which is curious. Why did you decide to visit the kitchen? To make sure my family was treating her well. I had some concerns about the way she was being treated. My family can be hard on the new staff sometimes. That seems like a good reason. I understand the two of you spoke about father and his temper. I had some concerns, but she said her mind. I thought he might be making her life difficult. As it turns out, I was completely wrong. I see. Later on, you had a conversation with your mother, Gloria, in the parlor. She told me that you were unusually cordial, something about wanting to apologize and make amends. I was being sincere. I see. Do you think it was slightly suspicious that you were suddenly wanted to reconcile after all this time? No, I don't think so. Very well then. It says, you spoke briefly about your sister. Apparently, you seemed quite concerned about her well-being. My mother and I were concerned that my sister might attempt to take her own life, as she had attempted once before. She had she? I will take note of that. You went to see your father in the library. I understand your conversation became quite heated. Your father always had a temper. The new maid is very domineering, and he was looking to force him out of the job. I believe cold and heartless were the... I see, interesting. Did you speak to your sister before dinner? Not. I said there was an argument involving the butler. He felt he was being treated fairly. Family has always treated servants poorly. Has to stand up for the servants around here. My family treats them like her. Indeed, it was good of you to do, sir, Mr. Bruce. I gather that your father rather lost his temper at one point. That's just the usual. Father often loses his temper at dinner. My father loses his temper no matter where he is. Now, I need to ascertain your location at the time of your sister's death. Where were you when you heard the maid scream? Ground floor, foyer, library, parlor, storage room, dining room, pantry. I believe foyer is correct. West wing. Foyer. No, fuck, I must have gotten the wrong room. I don't understand the call out to the rooms. I didn't accidentally mean to fucking lie. Alright, whatever. Your father ever prevents, which is, let's say he was never on a stair strap. I see. I'm curious about the murder weapon. Poison has apparently been sprinkled upon some cakes which is made it prepared. However, you must have also passed through the pantry, where his sister may have done this herself, if it was a suicide. It's all very interesting. I'll be completely honest with you, Mr. Bruce. Your behavior this evening has given me cause for suspicion. However, I'm more concerned that you lied about your location at the time of his death. However, the evidence of your father seems very compelling indeed. I also think the evidence surrounding your maid might be worth another look. Despite her condition, I don't believe your sister committed suicide. Now as for what happens next, I'm gonna have to ask you to accompany the station for further questioning. Am I under arrest? Not currently. Fuck. I accidentally lied about where I was in the murder and actually mean to lie. Like, I didn't realize that I was telling him the wrong room. I thought that was the correct room. God damn it. You could other interview with the maid will be required also. A verdict of suicide seems unlikely, I'm afraid. Alright, I'm gonna have to work my way out of this one. Fucking goddamn it. So you were brought along for further questioning. Police determined that there was not enough evidence to arrest you. Your father, as the only one to be arrested, remained the prime suspect. After a long and difficult trial, he was finally convicted of the murder of your sister in a very controversial verdict. I fucking did it! I fucking did it! Second try. Alright, in prison, in prison, your elderly father's health deteriorated quickly and he died within a year. Your grief-stricken mother died soon after. Dunstall House was yours, along with the fortune that came with it. However, George and Sophia found themselves unable to continue serving in the place after what had happened. My house, bitches. I killed my sister over it, got my dad to die in prison. Totally worth it. As you spent many long sleepless nights wandering through the rooms of your house, you found that its emptiness was reflected within yourself. You had become hollow inside, free of everything but the nightmares that continued to haunt you. I just said this was totally worth it, goddammit. Don't dictate to me how I feel, game. Fuck you. I win. I did it. I won the...
You got a second try.
Yep, nailed it.